The chances of a Grexit, is that now above 50%?
Well, that depends from which side you look at it. I personally think that it's not so much an economic issue as a political issue. Europe, and in particular NATO and the US, do not want Greece to leave the EU, because if they leave the EU, there are other people going to knock on Greece's door, like the Russians, the Chinese maybe. And so it's very much a geopolitical game of chess that is being played. Greece, even if they grow at 10% per annum for the next 10 years, will not be able to pay its debts back.
But we've got a very
important... It's bankrupt. We better face the reality and not kick the can down the road. Greece should default.
But if they default, then they will leave the Eurozone, surely.
Yes, and what is the damage if they leave the EU? They can still use the Eurodollar as the euro as a currency and have a parallel currency inside their own country.
Are you not worried about the contagion effects that we could see stemming from a Greek default and an exit?
Yeah, but maybe there will be contagion. But look, at the end, we have democracies in Europe. If the majority of Italians do not want to be part of the EU, let them vote so. If the majority of Spaniards don't want to be part of the EU, then let them be free. This is my argument. But in general, I don't think that people want to leave the EU, because then they lose their pensions that are in euros.
So that's your argument. What's your expectation, though, on Greece? Do you think this is a likely outcome in the next 2 months?
I think that the ECB and European banks will have to take huge losses on their loans to Greece and on the bond purchases they have made. I think Greece is in a very strong negotiating position. If they don't want to pay, what do you want to do? Do you want to invade and all hang them up?
Do you think that the QE program by the ECB in a way was a mistake when you take a look at Greece? Why do you think it was a mistake?
Well, first of all, I believe that central banks, as you know, in the US, the economy is not doing particularly well despite all the stimulus and zero interest rates for now 6 years in a row. And I believe that actually central bank purchases of assets, notably bonds, have actually encouraged governments not to cut down on government spending, but to continue to live essentially an extravagant spending.